Welcome back to the Fall Major Expert Division qualifying round, hole number 3. Here we're setting up for a Thorn bounce up shot using either a Kingmaker or a King Slayer type ball. Anything P2 plus, probably P3 plus because we're going to pull it. I'd say P3 plus, side spin 2 plus, wind 3 or 4. You need APOC 5 plus and Thorn 8 plus for the approach. I'm going to show you both a Kingmaker and a Wind 4. So a Wind 3 and a Wind 4 drive. The adjustment for the drive is P3 plus 10% max. We're using 2 left spin only if you're using if your wind is 7 plus mile an hour, then you'll use 2 left spin only. If your wind is anything below 7, then you need to use 0.5 backspin and then 2 left spin because we're not getting, the wind push to kill it. So make sure that if your winds are in the 6s, that you add 0.5 backspin so that you don't roll long. We don't want to see anybody roll long into the water here. So anything below 7, add 0.5 backspin, always 2 left spin. We're looking for anything basically like 302 to 307. You see there I was just over 7 mile an hour. I didn't add any backspin, and I kind of got a longer rollout, right? So if you wanted to get even a little more accurate with your drive, I would say winds in the 6s, use 0.5 backspin. Winds in the low 7s, like 7.5 to 7.0, then maybe just use like 0.2 or 0.3 backspin. Better short and safe than long and in the water on this one, right? And that's going to kind of feed into the Kingmaker shot. So with the Kingmaker shot, you're going to most likely be pulling into overpower. So this one is just going to be 2 left spin only because we're over 8 with our wind. And here what you're going to want to do is use whatever overpower you pull into minus a half of a ring. And that's to ensure that we don't add too much overpower. So if you see here, I'm going to pull like right at a ring of OP. I'm just going to use about a half a ring, just about half teeth OP here, just to make sure. Like I said, if this is a concern to you, it's always better to err on the side of caution and use less overpower than more overpower here. All right. But ideally, you want to be in that 302 to 305 range. The starting position is APOC 5 and 6. You'll have 1/3 of the blue ring in the right rough at the top of the 0. APOC 7 is blue ring touching. APOC 8 is 2/3 of the clear ring in the right rough. And all of those are at the top of the +0. Our approach shot, we're going to be doing a bullseye back fairway fringe check here to get our slider values. The adjustment is P3 plus 20% at slider. We're always using 2 backspin, one right spin. We're doing the fairway fringe line right here in line with the hole, right? That's where you want to do your bullseye check right there. As you can see here, I had the longer rollout on this one. I was 307. So I'm just slightly out of my check by about a ring here. When I pull it down into the zero, it's pretty much right on the zero. I could play this one either 0 or probably -1 and probably still be good. But that is where you want to check it. That's going to give you your slider value and our setup with spins added. What we want is we want the ball guide to be going through the right center of the cup like you see here, right? So split the difference between the right edge and the flagstick, and that's where you want your ball guide to be going. And then also, we're also looking at this line just above the cup. You want the tip of your ball guide to be touching that line just above the cup. What that does is that ensures that we're coming in at the same speed every time. If you just come up here and you don't pay attention to this and the tip of your ball guide is in the hole, you might roll short, and not reach the cup. If you put your tip of your ball guide way out here, you might come in too hot and lip out, right? So it's important that the tip of our ball guide touches this line just above the hole and that we're going through the right center of the cup, right? It should look like this after you're set up. You should also, I haven't had any issues with this, but you should also be set up on the green. The fringe line is here. Make sure that you're not closer to the green or to the fringe than one ring. All right. If you set up and your green ring is touching the fringe down here, then you're too close to the fringe. There's a chance that you might land on the fringe. I haven't had that happen, but if I was to have it happen, I would push it up a little bit further and add a touch more backspin. Just make sure that you're at least one ring above this green fringe line on the bottom, because that fringe will play differently than bouncing on the green itself, okay? If you hit the fringe, it's going to kick it to the right, and you don't want that. With that being said, once you're set up, you want to pull this one straight with an 1159 flicker. All right? You don't want a hard 59, but you don't want any 01. So it should flick to the left just a click or two more than it flicks to the right. So just a flicker 59. That's just to ensure that basically we're making sure we're not pulling any 01. And we're pulling just a slight bit of 59. Get everything right, hit perfect, you should be walking away with the eagle on hole number 3. This is the Kingmaker shot. Just going to show you the approach with the Kingmaker here. That's the bullseye fairway fringe check that we're looking for. Setup is the same here. Make sure that we're going through the right center of the cup and that we're touching the line just above the cup. All right, looks good. straight pull, slight 59 flicker. Hit perfect. Make sure you're centering your ball. Don't want to add any OP or any underpower, any accidental curl. But should be coming in very nicely using either a Kingmaker or a Kingslayer to grab you an eagle on hole number 3. Our bullseye back fairway fringe check to slider numbers are as follows. +6 is 31, 5 is 30, 4 is 28, 3 is 27, +2 is 25, 1 is 24, the 0 is 23, -1 is 22, -2 is 21, and -3 is 20% slider. Good luck, everyone. Hope you get the drop. We'll catch you on the next one. One other note before I let you guys go. If you hit great left on your drive, you're probably not going to be able to use one right spin, depending on how bad a grade it is. So if you're too far to the left, then the tree gets in the way on your approach shot. So use as much right spin as you can. Keep the backspin the same. Use as much right spin as you can. But you're going to need to offset it right of the cup. So if you can only use, say, half a bar of right spin when you go to make your approach shot, then offset a half a cup to the right. So instead of aiming right center, have the left side of the ball guide touching the right edge of the cup, right? So you're a half a cup further to the right. So for every half a bar of side spin you can't use is a half a cup right that you need to go, all right? And then also, if you have king wind there, like you're using a Kingmaker and you have king wind, you're obviously going to get more wind push out of it. So you may even go a little bit further to the right if you're not able to use one right spin. The only time I've had that issue is with great left drives. So just keep that in mind. If you hit the great left, don't freak out. Use whatever right spin you can and then offset it to the right as needed to make up for the lack of right spin.